Spoof films are a funny thing, pun intended. Depending on who's involved, they can be hilarious when made by a talented team, or can be so unfunny it hurts. But when did spoof movies become a thing? Most people would probably say the 60s or 70s, but it could be traced back to even earlier than that in the 1900s. A film called The Little Train Robbery, a 12-minute parody of 1903's The Great Train Robbery, but with children instead of adults. Then there's the famous Charlie Chaplin movie The Great Dictator from 1940, which was a clear parody of a certain dictator at the time. But it was in the 60s where spoof movies began to really blossom, with movies like Carry On Screaming, my favourite Carry On movie, a fantastic parody of Hammer horror movies. It was such a good spoof, it could almost be a real Hammer horror movie. But when do most people consider the golden age of spoof movies? Likely most people would point to it starting in the 1970s, with films like Young Frankenstein. A great example of a spoof movie done right, that not only was well made and funny, but it actually felt like it was being made by someone who loved the source material, rather than was making fun of it because they didn't like it. The golden age of spoof movies would continue for a few more decades. In the 80s, you had films like Airplane, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, The Naked Gun, and Spaceballs. In the 90s, you had films like Hot Shots, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and Loaded Weapon. But then spoof movies started to lose their magic. Jokes were being slipped in for little reason, other than the writer wanted to put that joke in the script. There were still at times some good spoof movies, such as Not Another Teen Movie, the Johnny English series, and Team America. But when the movie type spoof movies started coming out, it became popular to just do rapid fire pop culture jokes instead of actually coming up with actual funny jokes. Movies like Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans, and Stan Helsing started to feel stale and old. Spoof movies went from hilariously silly to face-palmingly embarrassing, often just cashing in on the most popular movies or TV shows at the time. Many times basing their jokes on the trailer or poster of upcoming movies, instead of actually seeing the movie first. With the movies, it started becoming that they would base the plot around the jokes, instead of the jokes around the plot. But has the dark age of spoof movies come to an end? I personally think it is very possible. With movies like the Naked Gun Legacy sequel, which felt like an old school spoof movie, and instead of using the rapid fire pop culture jokes, instead the jokes serviced the plot instead of the plot was written around them. And also people were getting excited about older spoof franchises like the Scary Movie franchise. So hopefully that's a good sign for spoof movies. I really hope so, because the world really needs something to laugh at now other than the real life events, in a kind of if you don't laugh you'd cry kind of way. Fingers crossed.